Tuesday, October 4th, 1966. Discourse on the Bhagavad Gita.
It's a common complaint with those who want to meditate or who want to live a spiritual life. They cannot concentrate. Their mind is restless. It is not their complaint, it is the complaint of all persons. So Arjuna asked Sri Krishna this question. We are discussing that question and answers. The answer was, it is not yours. Indeed, mind is restless. Mind would not have been mind had it not been restless. If mind becomes perfectly calm, it becomes as good as realization. It becomes as good as the eternal existence, eternal knowledge and eternal bliss. If the mind becomes even a little calm, we get joy. But ordinarily, mind is not calm. It is the nature of the mind. Now, how to make the mind calm? It might be the nature of the mind, but we have to make it calm if you want to develop spiritual life. The answer was the simple thing. It can be done only by practice and discrimination. Discrimination between the right and the wrong, and the effort to do the right and to eliminate the wrong. By constant discrimination, we create an atmosphere in our mind against things which are wrong. Then the evil tendencies automatically become under control, or at least become less and less turbulent. But more than discrimination, the important thing is practice. The Sanskrit word is abhyas, but it means more than practice. Really, it means persistent and constant practice. It is not simply do meditation for 5 minutes and it is all over. Or do it for 2 months or 4 months or 6 months and you give it up saying that there is nothing in it. It means persistent efforts to do the same thing. So much so, in all scriptures of Hinduism, this is exactly this word is repeated, abhyas. Abhyas means repeated practice. Exactly, it means persistent efforts to bring the wandering thoughts to the object of meditation. Patanjali's yoga book says, the success can come when one practices for a long time and constantly without any cessation. It should be done it has to be done, not should be. If you want it, it has to be. It has to be done for a long time, constantly. And it must be done with a devotion, with a love, not carelessly. It must be done earnestly and devotedly, with a respect for what you are doing, with love and liking. It should be done. If you can do that for a long time, then success will come. Success also depends on the temperament and capacities of the person concerned. Some persons have very poor spiritual outlook. Some have medium degrees of spiritual outlook. Some are extremely earnest. But all can be sure of success if they persist. It might be those who have innate spiritual yearning, spiritual outlook, they will succeed quickly. It does not mean that others will not succeed. Those who have spiritual yearning of medium type, if they persist, then they will have intensity developed. Those who have very low degree of spiritual outlook or spiritual yearning, if they persist, then it will develop into medium type, and afterwards there will be the proper intensity by which one would be able to realize the highest truth, or one will find it possible to make the mind calm. All say the same thing. Once Ramakrishna was speaking before some devotees, and Ramakrishna said, if you have real earnestness, if you have one-pointed earnestness, and you can get the realization quickly, at once you can get the realization. In his presence was, amongst others, a brother of Krishnachandra Ghosh, about whom some of you have read. He was a lawyer. He had some spiritual yearning. All were silent when Ramakrishna said that if you have intense spiritual yearning, then you can get the realization, you can realize God at once. All were silent because nobody could think that he has proper intensity of spiritual yearning. Seeing that, Sri Ramakrishna asked Krishnachandra Ghosh's brother to him, he said, you think that it is not possible? He said, yes, our mind does not go that way. And Sri Ramakrishna said, no, it will not go. But you have to practice daily and constantly. If you do it daily and constantly, without stop, without missing a single day, then interest will awaken. Then there will be intensity developed. Not that everyone has intense spiritual yearning, just to begin with. It has to be developed in many cases, most cases. So nobody should say that one is not fit for spiritual life. Everyone is fit, provided one persists, provided one has the will, provided one has the longing. At least if one has the willpower, or at least if one follows the directions. Ramakrishna gave this direction, just go on practicing. Every day you should do it. And psychologically it is true, through laws of association. When you begin to do every day, begin to think every day certain spiritual thought, gradually those thoughts find root in your brain, and gradually you will develop liking for those ideas, and gradually those ideas will become intense. It is so practical and it's so reasonable, provided you can follow it. To Ramakrishna came a great saint, Totapari. Totapari would say that as a water vessel, metallic water vessel, has to be rubbed every day, it has to be polished, otherwise it will rust it. In the same way, mind has to be polished every day. Not only every day, constantly, if you can. But fortunately, it becomes constantly if you just begin with spiritual practice at stated hours, at stated times. If you do it at intervals, 4 or 5 times, then there will be soon continuity. If you can, if you have the time and if you have the inclination. So when you do that repeatedly, without failing a single day, then you develop a climate. You develop an inclination. In the Gita, on the chapter on devotion, it is said the same thing in a different way. Yes, try to concentrate your thoughts on God, but you find it is difficult to concentrate, then you follow the yoga of practice. It's a technical word. That means daily you begin to do things, begin to do your spiritual practice. Don't look for result immediately. Don't get impatient. Mind is restless, and over that, if you develop impatience, you want to get the result quickly. Naturally, the result will be disastrous. You will not get anywhere. You will not get any. You must be patient. By sowing a seed at once, you cannot get the tree. There was a boy, by sowing a seed, the next day he would see whether the sprout had come, and sprout did not come. In the same way, in spiritual life, in their daily duties, for worldly things, people will undergo any amount of trouble, any amount of patience they will undergo. But as soon as they come to spiritual things and meditation, at once they will say they do not get a result. Some do not like to do practice even. They will say, oh, it's such a hard thing. It's a long way. It's a long way. Therefore it is so valuable. But because it is valuable, you have to go a long way. But way does not become long when you have interest in it. A worldly man, for his success, if he is told that you will get $1 million, if you can stand on your head every day for 2 hours, he will do that. Surely he will do that. He will undergo anything. But as far as spiritual things are concerned, if one is told that you sit for 5 minutes, they will find it difficult. They will not do it. Very few, I say, will do it. At least most people will not do it. They come in a casual way, just to get to meditation. Can you teach them how to meditate, standing on the street corner? You do not get it. It is two things are necessary: steady, persistent practice. It is necessary. Ramakrishna said himself, he could observe things so much, and he would say, how much practice do you undergo to succeed in singing, playing instruments, and dancing? How much practice you do? In the same way, do your spiritual practice steadily and persistently that you do. For everything, for every great success, for success, persistent efforts are necessary. I read in a book that Churchill had a little stammering habit. To cure that, to become a good orator, he would practice till late in life. He would persistently practice to conquer that. If for worldly success, so much efforts are necessary, so much perseverance is necessary, do you mean to say that you can get spiritual success at once? If you think you will get at once, you are mistaken. You will get some cheap things for which you will have to repent afterwards. You can take to LSD for quick spiritual realization. LSD, look for spiritual discovery, late meaning. So you will get spiritual discovery. You follow that quickly, they will get it. Take a drug and so on, or something like pill, I do not know. So when you seek a shortcut, it is about cheap things are dear in the long run. If you are serious, this is the way. But as soon as you begin, when you have the will, then it does not become difficult. Difficulties come only in our imagination, when we have not the earnestness, when we do not really require it, when we do not feel there is any need for it. But when there is a need for it, then you will do the same amount of labor for spiritual thing also. When you feel the need for spiritual development, then you will undergo. Those who succeed, they succeed that way. They do not find it difficult. Because the earnestness, all spiritual teachers, I mean, those persons who have got the realization, saints will say, it is not difficult. There came an educated man, a disciple of Ramakrishna. He asked for spiritual direction, how one can develop spiritual life. And he was asked, how much have you studied? He said he has got the bachelor's degree. He said, that's all right. For spiritual success, you will not have to undergo more than that. In a concrete form, the teacher told him. And meant it. He did not like to dupe him. For success in examination, you genuinely long for it. And in India, some persons commit suicide if they fail in the examination. That means intensity of desire is there. On that will depend the success of their life and therefore they are earnest about examination, but not so much for spiritual success. It comes only by the way for most of the people. So there should be persistent efforts if one wants to have real success. And as I said, if you want to face the brute, as they say, it becomes easy. It is not so difficult. Swami Vivekananda would say that I had that experience once in the streets of Benares. I was going, and just large number of monkeys just attacked me. His first tendency was to fly away. One monk was nearby, or a little distance, and if you just try to run away, then the monkeys will be after you. Your life will be in danger. And he said loudly, just face the brute. He faced them, all the monkeys ran away. She said, it was a great lesson in my life, he would say. In the same way, you face the brute. Mind is restless, just face it. Face in the right way. In that case, you will find it is not so difficult as you imagined. Many persons succeeded, and you also will succeed. Now to come to the practical thing, how to persist even. At once you may not be able to meditate on an abstract idea. For that, some preparation is necessary. When people say they will meditate, they think at once mind will be concentrated and they will be in samadhi, or at least near samadhi by sitting. It does not come that way. It will be very difficult. You cannot meditate on an abstract thing. There must be some concrete thing for beginners, or unless one person is very spiritually equipped. You cannot meditate on an abstract idea. There must be some concrete form. Some meditate on some, therefore on some saint, some incarnation, Christ or Buddha, Chaitanya in that way. Some meditate. Some meditate with books, with some spiritual ideas. They meditate on certain ideas, spiritual ideas, from the scriptures or any spiritual idea through which some persons have realized the goal. Then this becomes more effective. You cannot take any idea you like. You cannot in your own way develop some technique. You cannot. You will do that, but you will have to wait a long time to come to the right thing. You cannot be a freelance saint. You have to get some guidance from people. At least that will be help. If you don't do that, you will have to go a long way. Many detours will have to. So when you take some formula, prayer formula, through which some persons have realized the truth, it becomes helpful. Or take some sayings of great saints, incarnations, prophets, from their teachings, direct teaching, and that becomes easy. Some idea, you get some concrete idea, though not concrete form. When you meditate on Buddha or Christ, you get concrete form. You know, the Buddha did not talk of God or any concrete form, but his direct disciples found it difficult to meditate in the way Buddha liked. And the result was many began to meditate on Buddha. Buddha is identified with enlightenment. Buddha means enlightened one. So when you meditate on Buddha, you meditate on enlightenment, though through concrete form. So through concrete form one does. But same result can be got if one meditates on some spiritual idea, provided they are properly selected or learned from some person who have some experience. And another simple thing is, even that will be difficult for ordinary persons. One will find it difficult to continue. In the beginning, for a while, one might do these things after the inspiration of enthusiasm or novelty, but soon novelty will wear out. Always it happens. You come and get the novelty, enthusiasm of the novelty. But you'll settle down to normal conditions. Then many persons give way. It is difficult. And therefore, even Patanjali on yoga book says, then one should repeat the name, repetition of the name, repetition of some sacred symbol, sound symbol, or some name of a great prophet or a great spiritual personality. You begin to repeat that name from day to day. It is interesting and surprising. Then the result begins to come. It may not come all at once. It will come all at once if we are spiritually equipped. When Swami Vivekananda was giving the instruction to repeat one name, he at once gets the spiritual ecstasy. For hours, he was repeating the thing, and he was in ecstatic condition. At least 3 or 4 hours. I just now do not remember exactly how much. It was a long time he was in that state. He was fit, and the teacher was also spiritually extremely powerful. And the result was instantaneous. The same thing with Ramakrishna himself, when he got the instruction from his teacher. The result was immediate. But for other person, it will be a slow process. The process will be slow according to the capacity of the person concerned. But if one continues, then the interest will begin to come. What happens is this. At first it might seem simply dry, unless one has great spiritual interest. But if one simply follows, one has to follow, then interest will grow. One great artist of India, he has passed a very great artist. He was the principal of art college in Tagore's institution. But he was not an ordinary principal. He was really an artist and a saint and a philosopher. He gave instruction to one of his students. He was asked to draw a tree. And he said, don't try to draw the picture at once. You go sit before this tree, near the tree, and begin to look at it. In the beginning you like the tree, but soon this liking will wear off. There will be dry thing. You will not feel like looking at it. But do that because I have said. If you follow that, and after some time this dry period will go away. You will begin to like it again. Then you try to draw. He told me, because when one has to draw a tree, one has to follow this method. Sometimes one has to touch it. I said, what will you gain by touching the tree? You have to draw it, because just to have identification. You become so close with it. In any case, important thing what he said. First you like it, then there will come dryness. But continue it, then there will be the joy. The same thing with spiritual life, the repetition of the name. It's a simple thing, but it brings in untold a result. I heard of a person in our order. He was a great scholar. He came, and when his instruction was given, he said, in English he said, he was a Bengali. It's a simple affair. And the direction was so simple, he had no idea. He thought there will be some complicated thing. But out of this simple thing comes a great spiritual result. It is just like an acorn. Out of that comes the great oak tree. It is a matter of experience. It is said, some great saints say, that you do not understand the efficacy of repeating the name unless you practice it. It is true. Ordinary or modern educated person, especially even in India, you laugh at these things. What are they doing? It is some Buddhist scholar. He wrote a book on spiritual things. She said his mother was a Buddhist and she was repeating some prayer in the name of Buddha. And he, seeing the state of his mother, he began to call mommy, mommy, he began to say it repeatedly. And his mother was a bit annoyed. Why you do that in this way? Have I not heard it? And he said to his mother, does not Buddha hear it? Why do you repeat it so much? Yes, we repeat it so much because we do not really want it. But in any case, repetition has great efficacy. One great teacher said, just begin to repeat it. And it might be, you'll get it in 2 years, or in 3 years, or 4 years, At best, at 12 years, you are sure to get some result. Some result, you will surely get it. And get it. It is a matter of experience. There was a great saint. He is considered an incarnation. His name was Chaitanya. He advocated the repetition of the name that way. And in one of his prayers for hymns, he said in a beautiful way, there are many names of the Lord, and on each name you have given the full strength. On each name there is the full spiritual strength, and there is no time set for repeating that name. For doing ritualistic worship, time is set. Many other things are necessary. For repeating the name, no time is set. You can do it at any time, and it is so powerful. There is so much strength in it, but so much is my wretchedness that I cannot do that. I do not like to do that. So it is wretchedness. It is so simple, but it is the wretchedness of our mental condition that we cannot follow it. In one of his sayings, Chaitanya said, such is the power of the divine name, that when you begin to repeat it, then you begin to get liking for it. Not that you have to start with a liking. Not necessarily. Many persons have not the true liking. One person might have a little interest, some lukewarm interest. But when one begins to repeat it, follow these things, when one does this practice steadily without fail, then the result begins to come. By the repetition in the process, one develops the liking. When the liking is developed and spiritual interest is developed, then the concentration is easy. What is the law of concentration? The great law of concentration is interest. When you have developed interest, then you have not to ask people that my mind is not concentrated. Where your interest is, there will be a concentration. Concentration comes by itself. Even you follow this process mechanically, repeating the name mechanically. If you do that, it will come. The result will come sooner or later, but surely some result will come if you do not give it up. Christ said, he that endureth till the end shall be saved. So here also, those who will persist till the end will succeed. Many difficulties are bound to come, as difficulties come in every sphere of life. But those who persist to the end, they are sure to succeed, get some result. They will surely get some result. Nobody will have to go hungry. Ramakrishna used to say, everyone will get something. Some persons will get the food at 9 in the morning, some might get it at 2 in the afternoon, some in the evening, some at dead hour of night. Everyone will get something. And even if not in this life, in the life to come, if one persists earnestly. But the important thing is to develop love for God. So by repeating the name, by repeating certain name is not simply, it becomes not simply spelling of the word. As you begin to repeat the name, then interest arises. Yes, let us say, you repeat the name of Buddha. Then gradually, what Buddha is, what he stood for, he will have interest in his life, in his teaching. And gradually, idea of Buddha, his greatness will dawn on his mind. When his greatness begins to dawn on your mind, you feel interested, then your liking for Buddha will grow. In that way, one's spiritual life is developed. But one must continue till the end. Many difficulties will come. Sometimes success will come, and afterwards dry period. One might get some spiritual experience too, but that is not the guarantee that you will not have some difficulties. At once, some difficulties might come, but you have to continue. It cannot be done in a day. And you are tried, you are tested. Your devotion is tested, or God gives you the difficulty, so that your devotion is strengthened. In any case, the important thing is it has to be continued. Then success will come. But there is another method. Fortunately, if you have developed love for God, or if you have to begin with have love for God, important thing is to have love for God. When one has love for God, it becomes easy. And at that time, as the progress goes or comes, not in a measured step, it comes quickly. You can see, if you love a person at once, you become close to a person. Even that person is maybe on the distant part of the world, you feel so close to him. In the same way, God might be invisible. God might not be out of sight, or might be out of sight. We do not know his whereabouts. But when the love grows for God, at once it becomes clear, quicker to realize him. And there is a power in the name too. They say the name and the named are one. Sri Chaitanya said the name of Krishna is like the sun. Where the sun is, there is no darkness. Where the name of Sri Krishna is, there is no spiritual darkness. There is no ignorance. But belief begins to grow. Faith begins to grow. Then you begin to, when you do spiritual practice, then the faith in the words of the saints becomes stronger and stronger. After all, you literally believe these things. It is not a matter of artificial belief. You can see your understanding becomes clearer and clearer. So it is said that when you do it with love and devotion, devotion also grows. But when real devotion has come, then it becomes easy. It is not so difficult. So it is said it is easy, it is difficult. Not necessarily it is difficult. It is difficult for those who are unwilling. Difficult for those who have not the real interest, nor have the capacity, nor have the willingness to try to develop that interest. But it becomes easy, pleasant for those who have some interest. When you have some interest for any work, it becomes easy. You don't say that it is difficult. Only when you have the genuine interest, then it becomes easy. So here it is said the direction is that it should be done, it can be done by persistent practice and discrimination. To have the alertness. Discrimination means alertness, vigilance. Two things are necessary. But for that also, you must live a regular disciplined life. You cannot live wild life and at the same time you can meditate. Both things do not go. Or when you begin to do spiritual practice, your life becomes automatically more and more disciplined. The indication is automatically, spontaneously, without any deliberate effort, life becomes more and more disciplined. In any case, you must live a disciplined life. Unless you live disciplined life, spiritual success will be far off. And it will be easy for those who live a disciplined life and follow the proper method. Let us stop. Anybody is welcome to ask me questions. Let us stop.